Go.
Okay, I've been told we're starting. Anyways, this is Kat, not Armty. I'm your host now, forever, because I killed everyone, and now I'm the host. Anyways, welcome to Dead Air, the Tell It to the Dead podcast. I'm here with Liv, Forever Michonne, Candace, or Deep Ricking, Lunafall, and myself, the best one. All right, and so we're going to be talking about Bury Me Here, last week's episode, which took place in the Kingdom and followed primarily Morgan, as well as Carol and King Ezekiel. And to start off, just go ahead and ask what everyone thought about this episode's writing, since it was written by our showrunner, Scott Gimple. Liv, do you want to start off? Since you didn't even watch it?
Sure, since I didn't watch it, I'm gonna just assume it was garbage because you know how I don't like Carol like that, and because, well, any episode where the main characters aren't in, I feel like it's pretty much garbage.
Great answer! Okay, Forever, do you want to give a more insightful answer?
I really enjoyed Morgan and just in general. I thought I read spoilers and they weren't as. He just really gutted me. Like reading it on paper wasn't as bad as actually watching him turn into this, or actually revert back to what he has been in seasons past. So it was a really gut wrenching episode for me, as far as Morgan is concerned.
Okay, and Candace.
Well, I love Morgan, so I love the episode. I wasn't too happy about all the Carol stuff, but it was a good episode.
And does Luna have any insight from the chat?
No,
not yet.
No. Okay, well, as for me, I love the episode, and writing-wise, as far as Gimple goes, it did remind me that I don't always hate everything he writes ever, especially when he's actually writing an episode. I had some nitpicks here and there, but overall, I loved it. I watched it like 3 times, which is more than I usually watch episodes that don't have Roshon in them. So, there you go. But as for the next question, let's see. There was a bit of dialogue from the character Nabila to Ezekiel. Here's the beautiful thing, Your Majesty. You can tear it out and cut it down. You can burn it and throw it all away. But if you want it, it can all grow back. Gimple likes to have quotes like that all around. And what do you think the significance of this particular quote might be? Liv, since you still didn't watch the episode.
I think that was just him being lazy, and he decided to go back to, what was it, season 4 with the Herschel. It's basically the same thing, except he just took out if you plant it, roots will grow, or something like that. I haven't watched the episode in a long time, but I just felt like that's lazy as shit. He was just like, "Where's that piece of paper from season 4? Let me see that. Oh, let me just scratch out here, here, and here. Here you go. Now read this." Like, what the fuck, Gimple? Be more creative, man. Be more creative.
Thank you, Liv. Anyways, Forever, you have a better idea, maybe?
Well, I think it's
Just lazy.
pretty much symbolizing something for Morgan, both in Carol. Especially considering that Carol has all of this fire symbolism with it, just adding all of the burn it down part really speaks to Carol and also Morgan and what he's going through during the episode of burning it, technically like burning away all of himself and kind of getting in touch again when he remembered Dwayne. Does he want to go back to that state that he was in season 4 or 5?
Yeah, or, well, season 3 with Clear, and then
He was barely in season 5, if I remember correctly.
He was just in the end, and Here's Not Here was in season 6, but it took place from before he showed up.
Season 6 doesn't exist to me. Like, I don't remember anything of season 6. It's not even. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7.
I remember 6, 10.
Yeah, that's all I remember too. Barely.
Right. But yeah, with the Carol symbolism, there was even more in this episode. After the credits, in that little scene where she wakes up and she lights a match and turns on the lamp. But anyways, Candace, you have any thoughts on that particular quote?
I kind of think it was about Ezekiel trying to preserve the kingdom. He didn't want to get into the fight because he was afraid of what would happen. And I think he just has to realize that something's bad is going to happen if he just sit still. So he might as well just burn his idea of how the kingdom is right now, because it's not going to stay that way. And after they deal with Negan, then maybe it can regrow and be better than it was before. That's what I took from it. And we have a comment from the chat, and it talks about Gimple. It said Gimple thinks he's being deep, but that dialogue was so clunky. So I guess, Liv, we have somebody that agrees.
Yeah, and I do kind of agree. Like, on the one hand, I am kind of a sucker for those big philosophical things. It's just when they're put in the dialogue, it feels really unnatural.
It feels kind of lazy to me, because that's basically what Herschel said, but in a different setting. So it was kind of like, let me just put the same thing he said in 4 in the 7, because I'm being really lazy right now. Like, it could have been more natural than that. He could have did something else. Just Gimple, gosh.
He loves parallels, and he's trying to parallel Carol and Ezekiel to Rick and Michonne.
But they're not the same. They're not the same.
And Herschel's spirit's still with us. He lives in Nabila now.
Can we put in something for hashtag Nowberry right now?
Yes, absolutely.
Put that in.
Who the hell is that?
It's the new ship that's sweeping the nation.
I was like, Nebuchadnezzar. Like, ain't that somebody from the Bible? Nebula? Ain't that like something in space?
It's Nabila and Jerry. It's the greatest crack ship that ever happened as of a few days ago in the bunker. Or last night. I don't know. My life is a blur. And everyone should ship them
hard,
because they're the best characters in the kingdom besides Ezekiel, and they're both so positive and happy, and I love them. And I was rolling on the couch thinking about them as an actual couple, even though they've never interacted.
Well, they live in a kingdom. Kingdom's not that big. They've seen each other around.
They have to.
And they're in close quarters with the king, so I think they, I don't know, eat cobbler or something together.
She probably baked it.
Cobbler. Girl, please. Bread.
She made the cobbler.
Eat some bread. Some dried up bread. Eat Carol's cookies. Eat cookies. Ew, gross.
Okay. Moving on. Let's see. So Morgan and Richard were a big part of the episode, and they played off each other throughout it, and that dynamic eventually culminated in Morgan literally squeezing the life out of Richard. What do you think of this particular dynamic, and why do you think Morgan killed Richard? Starting with Liv again, because she's very insightful.
I believe he killed him because he was really mad. Like, Morgan is trying to preserve life while everybody else is killing. So he's figuring, hey, why the hell not? Everybody else is killing, so why should not? Which I feel like you should in the zombie apocalypse. Why do you even have morals at this point? Like, I understand, but you guys are playing checkers while everybody else is playing chess. Like, I will not kill anybody. Meanwhile, Negan is just taking his back, bashing everybody's head in. So, hey, why not? Why the hell not? Let's just kill everybody. Let's just put everybody out of this misery.
Yep, that could be it. Anyways, forever.
I think once Benjamin was killed, and who's his name, Richard, he said, like, he basically wanted to be the person to go. That's when Morgan decided, like, I'm gonna kill you, like, anyway. Just to kind of make his death seem, because he had a plan to make himself seem more available to the saviors. So he killed him just to, as like kind of like a sacrifice.
Good insight.
So yeah.
Yeah, wait, by him you mean Morgan killed Richard to make Morgan more available to the saviors, or that was Richard's plan?
Morgan killed Richard in order to make them more available to the saviors, or make them seem more I don't know what the word is.
I see where you're going with that. That's kind
Or-
of cool to see it that way.
Yeah, they wanted to make them seem like, because there was a lot of more trustworthy to the saviors.
Yeah, like he killed the guy that was going to oppose them, so he proves, quote unquote, to the saviors that he's on their side, or that he understands. Yeah.
So then he has more time to possibly plan another attack, or
Get
make
and
amends.
actually join the fight.
Yes,
much.
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay. Candace, your thoughts on the Morgan Richard dynamic and why Morgan killed Richard?
I kind of think Morgan with that all life is precious thing was his way of bringing justice into this new world. And when Richard didn't take responsibility for Ben's death, well, he didn't publicly take responsibility for it. I think Morgan just kind of snapped, and it was his way of trying to right this injustice. Like, hey, this dude killed Ben, he needs to pay, and he was just done with that being a pacifist.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
lives matter.
Yeah, I think it was probably a combination. I think he was kind of building up to it since he found out that that's what Richard was doing, or he was holding himself back from his clear murder rage. And each little bit that Richard kind of revealed, like when he said, "Okay, I'm gonna tell Ezekiel about what I did, and I'm gonna tell him about my plan," but then he didn't tell him, and then Richard's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna lead everyone." Then I think Morgan seeing him kind of taking advantage of Ben's death in this way in order to make himself like the leader that's going to save everybody or whatever, pissed him off. So he killed Richard. And then in the moment after he'd done it, he kind of saw like, oh, I can use this, and remembered Richard's plan in the first place. And then he just kind of went with that. Like, yeah, we understand now, as you can see, because I killed this guy that was planning on doing all these things.
Swan is in the chat, and she says Morgan killed Richard because Richard was a dumbass.
That too.
Yeah. Shout out Swan.
Hey, Swan. Let's see. Yeah, Nolan's scheme was pretty stupid. And next, moving on. So Carol was finally given a truthful answer to her question, like, how's everyone in Alexandria? And she joined the fight. So what do you think of her story so far, and how she's going to contribute in the efforts against the saviors? And what do you think about Morgan's motivations in not telling her originally and then revealing the truth to her later? Let's see. Let's switch it up and start with Forever instead of Live.
You know.
Well, I'm gonna start first with the Morgan and Carol question. I think like him protecting Carol from the original thing of like knowing that Glenn and Abe had died was originally kind of going in with its all lives are precious thing, and he wanted to respect Carol and her not wanting to know about whatever happened over in Alexandria. But I think this episode made him realize like that nobody is really safe from, this world. Like if you're going to continue to keep living in this world, then you have to be prepared for all of the, terrible things are going to happen. So I think it was kind of him snapping a little, but also something that she needed to hear. And he realized that. So, and then what's the first other question?
That was Carol's journey so far to this point, and then what purpose she'll serve in the upcoming conflict.
I think that she's going to be really a huge part of Ezekiel becoming a stronger fighter toward Negan and not being afraid of Negan. Yeah.
Okay. And Candace, your thoughts. If I need to repeat the question, I can.
No, I agree with everything Fairby says. I think Morgan knew that Carol needed peace in her life at that point, and he pretty much gave her the choice. Like, if you want to go to Alexandria to find out what happened, I'll go with you. And that was him giving her a choice, and she declined. She didn't. She wanted to be in her little ignorant bubble, and then at the end, Morgan just realized that it's not time to have a little retreat at the creepy house. You have to know what's going on, and you have to prepare for it. And as far as Carol's journey, I kind of like this struggle to kill people, because Morgan had it, but we really didn't see it for like one episode. Because in season 3, Carol couldn't shoot, and now she's just killing people with machine guns. And I just hope that wherever her role is not Carol saves the day. That's the only thing. Because I'm really tired of that.
Yeah. Okay. I guess Liv wants something to say.
Oh, my turn. Okay. Let's see. What was the question again?
Carol's journey so far, what she'll do in the future as far as the Savior's conflict, and Morgan's motivation for not telling her initially and then telling her later.
Well, I think the reason why Morgan didn't tell her initially, because I mean, it's Carol. It's like 1 minute she's on board, next minute she's not. And the problem is, to me, she's kind of like too unstable, and I'm not saying not trustworthy, but she's too unstable to actually know where her loyalties lie. She's either wanting to fight with you or she's not going to want to fight with you. So it's kind of like, what's the point of telling her if she's not going to do it? And I feel like, and I hope, and like, what's her name? Candace said, I hope she doesn't just come on her white stallion and be like, I'm saving the world now.
Yeah.
Because, well, first of all, this is how Gimple wrote it. And second of all, this is how the show should end. It's like, no, let's be honest. We haven't seen her for like 20 episodes. And then all of a sudden she's like, I want to save people now. Like, boo-boo, it's a little too late to want to save anybody. You need to save yourself. You need to save yourself first.
Yeah.
She can never save herself. Rick always
I
have to
agree.
save herself.
That's why I'm
I
like,
get
she
that.
should never ever. He should have never told her. Like, to be honest, when they said Daryl should have told her, I'm, for one, even though Daryl isn't my favorite character, I was like, no, I totally agree. I would never tell her, because even Daryl know this girl is way too emotionally unstable. She over here talking about she want to kill herself. Well, due to the Saviors having bad aim and the bullets just happen to be bad, she didn't die. So I just feel like Carol is a character to me that's just there because, first of all, nepotism. Sorry. And second, she's kind of a character that you can bridge. She's like a bridge where you can make more plots with her, but that's about it. Like, Carol should have died season 3 with T-Dog. Like, I'm sorry to all the Carol fans out there, but homie should have been died.
I agree.
All right. Thank you, Liv. See, as for me and Carol's journey, I found it very tiring and repetitive.
Exactly.
Since she's been on the same thing since like season 4.
Yep.
But on the other hand, I almost wish more people would take a note from Carol and go find a creepy house and just chill out for a bit. Like, I don't know, Daryl, Rosita. If Carl were ever on screen, I would tell him to do that, but he probably has his own creepy house right now with how little we've seen him.
He moved into the Anderson house.
Probably. Let's see.
Can I say something really quickly?
Sure.
About Carol? It feels like the absence of like the story wise. If you see overall the story wise, this whole season 7, it seems like it kind of makes it seem like all of the stuff is happening because Carol is not there. Like I feel like it's kind of easy to say, like if Carol was there, then Negan wouldn't be a problem or anything like that. And
Yeah,
because
no.
yeah, it's easy
I'm
to
sorry.
kind of get that from the
Carol
story.
fans think that for real. Like she would
Yeah.
have saved them from the lineup.
But I don't think
And
that's true.
Yeah, and
I-
I don't know if that's what Gimple's going for, if that's just what fandom and the audience has made out of it. But yeah, there is kind of that implication since she's been on vacation this whole time. Now everything's going to shit.
Right.
Even though,
Nora,
although,
Nora commented on this. She said, "While I do see that Carol and Morgan's paths are pretty similar, I just find it odd that upon realizing something was fishy about what Daryl told her, she doesn't go to Alexandria with Morgan." I'm still trying to figure out why she. See, people say that the family doesn't care about Carol, but she kind of shows
I
that she
don't.
doesn't care about them.
Exactly. She doesn't care. My bad. Just Carol, her whole writing is just like, I just want to take the paper and like slap all the writers with her. Like they could do so much more with her. Like she's how do I say it? She's just one-sided. Like there's nothing else, there's nothing more to her. Like, okay, I'm sorry you were abused. I know no woman should go through that. But there's more, there's levels to it. It's like you can see a journey with Rick, you can see a journey with Michonne. What journey has Carol actually went through that changed her? Just waking up one day saying, hey, I want to fight now does not make you a changed character. You're just saying, hey, I just want to fight today. Like you can change again. You'll be like, I don't want to fight.
Yeah.
yeah, and I can I can understand to some extent Carol's arc. I just feel like they dragged it out too
Right.
long,
Mm-hmm.
and they put too much focus in previous seasons, not this season, on whatever she's doing, even though it's just the same thing over and over. And
Yep.
then they kind of speed through everyone else.
Yeah, she
She's
cries a
really
lot.
she's really
Almost every
repetitious.
episode she's in. Let's see.
Swan commented. She said, "I don't trust Carol, and I didn't like her reaction to hearing that Glenn died. It's not like she's been with him since the beginning or anything."
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
She probably don't even know who Glenn is. She was like the Chinese man.
Oh my
Like, bitch, he
God.
Korean.
Oh yeah, because like in not
They
tomorrow
they
yet, she was mad about Maggie going on the trip. But instead of talking to Glenn, she's gonna talk to Rick about it. Like
that
seriously?
was also the first
Who's
time she
he?
ever talked to Maggie.
Oh yeah. She should have talked to Glenn about it.
She's never talked to Glenn on screen. She talked
Carol's
Yeah.
talked
about
down to
him.
more people than she's actually talked to anybody. She's talked down on everybody. I even remember the Jesse scene. Like, I know that's not like none of our favorite character, but she had the nerve. I was like, excuse me, baby. Last time you wasn't too far from getting them love taps, so you need to chill on who you judging. See, I just hate how she written. Damn. I'm sorry, guys.
Anyways, moving on from the very contentious Carol topic
Yeah.
to the slightly less
Contentious.
contentious. The slightly less
Contentious
contentious.
is stupid.
I was like,
hate her.
I feel that. I was like, I hope there's not too much Carol in my outline because I feel like that'll detract from most of the episode, which isn't actually about Carol. Okay, but this is marginally related to Carol because she does ask Morgan to stay in the creepy house. But what do you think that will mean for Morgan going forward?
I
He
think
just
he
got a
won't
roommate.
go. He needs a roommate. I don't think he'll go as far as he did in Clear. I think he will kind of hold on to his sanity a little bit, but he can get crazy when he needs to.
Mm. I agree.
I think Morgan's gonna die, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's getting that vibe.
I
Yeah,
hope it's not until next
You
season.
know why I feel that
Oh
way? I'm
yeah.
sorry. It's because if you notice, every time somebody comes to like towards their enlightenment, they die. Like they come to the end of the conclusion of their story. It's like you die. Like Abe died. Well, Glenn didn't even get a chance. They just killed him for fun. But basically everybody who didn't have like closure usually dies.
yeah. I guess getting to closure and going beyond it isn't fun for this show for some reason. You should just be
It was
endlessly
like,
miserable,
oh, I
like
want
two
closure.
people
You
I know
died.
of. Misery is the only option.
Hmm.
But yeah, I really I think that they're going to kill Morgan at some point, and I hope that they do not.
The Morgan and
Um,
Daryl scenes kind of make me hesitant. If Morgan and Daryl start to get close again,
oh my
Morgan's
god.
gonna die for Daryl being pain again.
Ugh.
Oh, that actually reminded me of something. Oh, I have to go back to Carol again. But that maybe that's part of the reason Morgan didn't tell her when she asked again, is because Daryl was all like, "If Carol were here, she'd lead us to blah blah blah," and then Morgan, he gets reported from Carol that, or gets reported, yeah, gets reported from Carol that Daryl was there and he didn't tell her the truth. So Morgan's like, well, Daryl knows Carol better. And if he, even after he told me Carol's such a badass, thinks that he shouldn't tell Carol, then maybe I shouldn't tell Carol. So maybe he was just kind of following Daryl's lead on that.
Taking like
I'm back.
Now back to Morgan and how he relates to Morgan. In the creepy house, I think, since that is apparently the place where Carol got through her issues in regards to killing and not killing and her feelings there, and there are certain parallels in Morgan's journey as well. Hopefully Morgan staying in the creepy house and being able to get his head together will be good, but at the same time, the last time he was on his own, that's when he went clear status. But so hope,
Ezekiel's not far,
yeah,
so
that's true. And she did say that you can go and not go, and so hopefully that means like Ezekiel will still check in on him, and he'll still have
You,
that connection to other people that can help keep him from going all the way. And I do worry
you know,
that his journey is going to be like some kind of warning, like, oh, if you kill too much, you can't come back from it, and so you just either die, or like Richard said, you either have to kill or you kill yourself. So I'm afraid that might be what Morgan decides. He either has to become this machine that just kills, or he has to die. And then that will be used in Rick's plot somehow. He'll be like, oh man, we have to not kill Negan because of
can y'all hear
Morgan.
me?
Yes, hi Liv.
Okay, cool.
So that's my concern with Morgan. But I want to believe that the creepy house will be good for him, because right now that's like all he's got is this creepy house.
I just think that whole creepy house is symbolic to like the moment Carol finally leaves the creepy house is when she's back with society. Cause it's just a regression. She just regressed. When she goes back to the creepy house, she's back to Carol. When she's out of the creepy house, she's back with everybody. So it's kind of like I don't know if that creepy house is actually a good thing in my eyes, because it's kind of like when she goes there, she's someone different. Oh, freaking God.
Yeah, that could be like the creepy house represents stagnation or something. Like Carol was
Yes,
busy being
denial.
in, yeah,
Denial
denial.
house.
And so Morgan being there could be symbolic of
God
him
damn.
being stuck in the like clear, I have to kill everyone one by one mentality.
Well, I think maybe the creepy house is kind of like where you go to stop you from reaching that kind of extreme. Like Carol went there before she was about to leave, and Morgan went there before he was about to leave. So, like, it's where you go before you completely just reach that, where it's not killing at all and just wandering, or going out to the woods to
like
kill
it's
and
some kind
clear.
of limbo or purgatory or something.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking. Stop stealing my thoughts. I was thinking of the word. I was like, Candace is gonna say it. always says my words.
I'm sorry.
Anyways, so next question. This episode tested King Ezekiel as a leader. What do you think of how he handled the situation at the drop off? What about when Morgan was killing Richard? And how did Ezekiel's stance on fighting the Saviors change from when we first met him in the show to when he told Carol that they would fight, but not today? Since Liv is back, let's go ahead and let's let her talk.
Okay. Well, because you know how I didn't see the episode, and I
Yeah.
see no color. Remember this, people. I see no
My
color.
God.
Just.
Oh god.
just okay. Well, hold on. Let me get this. Well, I just think Ezekiel is one of those people like he sees the problem, but he just turns the other cheek. So he's like, yeah, I see that they getting their ass whipped, but I'm not going to jump in that fight because that has nothing to do with me. But eventually that fight will spill over to him, and then that's when the issue happens. I didn't really see the episode, so I don't know Hai's reaction, but I'm assuming it wasn't good. At least it was like, well, we will not fight today, or you know how he talks, and he was like, we'll just pretend like Ben didn't die, or whatever he does. And I feel like he probably could have been more of a stronger leader, as in, I just think Ezekiel just goes along and just be like, if it happens to turn out good, he takes credit for it, and if it happens to turn out bad, he'd be like, well, back to the drawing board, because he even said it the first time that he wasn't gonna bring what was his name? Richard, there it is. Richard. He wasn't gonna bring Richard back to the drop off, but then you brought him back again. Why? You knew this was gonna cause trouble. Ezekiel, and what was the second part of this question? Was there even a second part?
There was what about how he watched Morgan kill Richard, and let's see.
He probably knew it had to happen because Richard was really unstable. Like, he just couldn't do it anymore. Like, Richard was a very big of a problem, but he was trying to make people see, but he was going around it the wrong way. Like, you didn't have to make up these situations to happen. Like what he tried to do with Daryl, he got his ass whipped. What he tried to do with him, he got himself killed. It was like he should have just took a time, and I think Ezekiel knew that he had to die. And even though it was sad and he was gonna lose a fellow membership or whatever member, that's pretty much how he felt. The end.
Okay. So from someone who watched the episode and saw Ezekiel doing things, Forever, what's your insight?
So when Morgan was killing, it's canon that that Ezekiel didn't do anything, but I think they shot some scenes where Ezekiel actually tried to stop him. But it's canon that he did. But anyways, I think that he was kind of shocked by the fact that he was doing something like that, and I think that's where it like reached him that the saviors were killing the kingdom from the inside.
Yep.
It's making people do things that are totally against their to what Ezekiel knows of Morgan, killing his character and things that he knows that he's capable of. So I think he was just kind of shocked to see, and he trusted Morgan, I think, to have a reason for why he was actually trying to do something like that. Which is saying something because he asked him to come back to the kingdom after he just strangled a man. So
Come back to the kingdom where you will be safe.
yes, that's how it went.
Yes, that's how you do it.
Okay. And Candace, any insight about King Ezekiel and his leadership?
No, but we have somebody on YouTube who's commented, and I'll read it. It says,
Like,
Reese from Nicole Brown. I said her whole name. I'm sorry. He didn't have the same problem that Rick had. The kingdom had a really good deal, and following with Rick to war when he asked would have been stupid. Ezekiel kept bringing Richard because the Saviors told him to do so. And Nuna commented and she said he handled it the same way Rick did. He did what he thought was best for the people at the time. And like Rick,
Girl,
it
exit
took
stage
more
right.
death for him to realize that it wasn't gonna work. And it's true because Rick was gonna play the game. And for Ezekiel playing the game actually worked until it didn't. And when it
Mhm.
didn't, he decided to step up and go to war.
Yeah, like Ezekiel's whole deal with the Saviors was basically what Rick was doing at the first half of this season, just with less, there was murder beforehand. Because Ezekiel hadn't lost anyone to the Saviors, and he was keeping it that way by just giving the Saviors what they asked for. And so, because he hadn't seen what Rick had seen, he didn't know personally what the Saviors were really capable of and the type of violence and loss that could come from them.
I I think
But
it
it
was the
was the
same, but
same
not the
strategy.
same. I think it was the same, but not the same, because the only difference between Rick and the difference between Ezekiel, Negan was making Rick his little bitch. Ezekiel was still having some type of like trade agreement going on. It's like, I give you these watermelons, and his setup was a whole lot nicer than Negan. I mean, Rick's. That's why Rick told him
Yeah.
that story about. He told him that story is like, because like you keep turning the other cheek, you see the situation and you just like, well, it ain't happening to me, and I'm getting the better end of the deal. See, Zeke had the better end of the deal, Rick didn't. So it is the same, but is it the same? Because if Rick had the numbers, best believe we wouldn't even be talking about this.
Well, Rick kind of bested Negan with the outpost thing, and Negan's just been on Rick because I think that kind of shocked Negan because Negan never goes anywhere, but he has to go, and he has to go to Alexandria, and he has to pretty much reinforce his control over Rick because he knows Rick is too strong.
Yeah, because he already knows that Team Family and the Alexandrians are
Yeah,
fighters,
Team
and
Faith.
they have fought before, so that's why he keeps them under the thumb. Meanwhile, Ezekiel hasn't had any issues other than things exacerbated by Richard. Uh, and I think King Ezekiel and the way he handles things, if Rick had landed himself in a situation where his whole family was just safe and the saviors just and they hadn't gone through like we have to kill people all the time, and they had a good setup and some people showed up like, hey, we'll kill you if you don't give us some shit, then if they had the option to keep everyone alive, if they just hand things over, he would have taken it. He was
Mhm.
trying to do that and it didn't work, just like now it's not working with Ezekiel. And there is true that it was kind of like not their issue, but it's not like Team Family goes out of the way to solve other people's issues anymore. Certainly not. They didn't in like season 6 and season 7 as a whole, or season 5 when they're on the road. They're just kind of like, we need to deal with our issues before we deal with other people. And I think it's the same thing for Zeke. He just wants to keep his people safe. And there's issues there with only looking out for your own and no one else. But at the same time, I can't really fault anyone for a neutral stance where they're just trying to do what's best for their own people.
Yes, Reese
Yeah.
on YouTube confirms that Ben is the first person the Sabers killed. So yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
and they've lost, the community has lost other people through other means, but they haven't lost anyone to the saviors until Ben.
Oh wow.
So the whole setup was working until Richard was stupid. And eventually it is true that things might have gotten bad for the kingdom
Yeah,
anyway.
so it would have been irresponsible for Zeke to actually team up with Rick if that's the case.
Yeah, and a lot of the other communities, I understand why they didn't just jump at the chance to go fight with Rick. I mean, Gregory didn't because he sucks. And
Yeah, Gertrude just sucks as an individual.
Mhm.
but each community by themselves has no chance against the saviors. That's how many numbers the saviors have. It really takes all of them together to even stand a chance. So, and no one wants to sign themselves up for a war if they know we're just going to be annihilated. They have to know the other people are in it. No one wants to be the first one.
We say we're gonna be annihilated. They're like, well, you're gonna be annihilated anyway. So I guess that's what Rick's like conclusion was like. You're going to die anyway. Might as well go die. You die fighting. At least Negan would be like, well, this little dude wasn't a bitch when he went. That's why he respects Rick, because he's like, oh, okay. And
except they
Daryl
weren't gonna die anyways because they were just giving them pigs and melons and shit. So like, we can be alive and those guys can be over there.
Well, that's because they wasn't fighting. They were like pandering. There's a difference.
Well, there you go. It was working. They still stayed alive until. But Richard was seeing like, oh, eventually the saviors are gonna come slowly kill us.
Well, he's not lying. He just went about it the wrong way.
Yeah, exactly. But from a lot of people's perspective and what they were seeing with the saviors, like, as long as we just pay them off, we'll be alive, and we don't have to go risk everybody to go fight some people that'll just destroy us anyways.
Nah, saviors is not how it works.
Zeke was kind of treating the saviors like the IRS. Like, I just pay
I was just about to say that. OMG, I was just about to say that. I was like, they're like the IRS. I was going, damn, Candace. OMG, I was like, they're the IRS.
I told you, she steals your thoughts and then she says them.
I was like, the IRS. The saviors are like the fucking IRS. As long as you go pay your taxes, you cool. The moment you're not, you in jail. Tax agent. Damn you, Candace.
Let's see. Okay, now how might Morgan's new transformation affect his relationship with Rick? Not Richard, but Rick Grimes.
Rick gonna be like, about time.
I think, does Rick see Morgan before the finale?
Since that's the spoilers, I don't think we can say that until the end when we say like, hey, spoilers.
Well, I think Rick will be happy because Morgan is a good fighter. So, and the influence he has over Zeke, it will come in handy. So I think Rick will be happy that Morgan is on board to finally fight. And plus, Morgan's not a dumb guy. He can come up with some strategies. He can probably help them win the battle now that he's on board.
Man, the best strategist, I gotta like not lie, is like Michonne. She's like the best strategist. Like, she kind of thinks like 5 steps ahead before everybody else is getting to where she just got. I mean, don't get me wrong about Morgan. I just think he's more logic. He thinks more logical, and she thinks more like strategic. Like, if it's some logical thing, then yeah, ask Morgan. Be like, yeah, like, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But when you going against Negan, don't be playing checkers while he is playing chess. Like, that's the only thing.
Well, that's the case. They need all of them. They need all of their points of views and perspectives.
Yeah, Kingdom has some strong fighters.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah, Forever, do you have some more on that?
I think Rick is gonna be completely on board with Ezekiel coming on board. They need more people, so he's gonna be happy about it. I hope that they have more scenes together. I like to see them together and like start a friendship. Possibly, I'm a friendship person. So
I'm a little disappointed we didn't see that night at the Kingdom.
Look at you! Look at you! Look at this one. Like, I'm mad we didn't get to see Rashawn and them butt naked. OMG. Like, oh my gosh. Like, I'm so mad they didn't put that. That's what you got fan fiction for, people.
Since this was a Morgan question, were you hoping he was going to join them?
This was a Morgan question. I think that. Oh, are you talking to me?
Oh, I was talking to Candace.
Oh, whoops.
When I said night at the Kingdom, I was actually talking about like a Kingdom dinner between King family and the Kingdom. Liv, the one who went to the gutter.
Oh, okay.
Nah, that's not what you meant. You know what you meant. You know what you meant.
But yeah, it would have been good to see Morgan and Rick interact more at the kingdom, like more than just talk about where's Carol. And I think Rick maybe at first will be like, yeah, Morgan's on board, and then Morgan, we're gonna get that, be careful what you wish for stuff, and he's gonna maybe dip a little too extreme, and that's gonna make Rick kind of like, oh man, maybe I should have appreciated Morgan the pacifist more.
Oh yeah, Swan says she thinks she said I like Ricky Dicky. I think Ricky Dicky will be happy but worried because the last time he saw Morgan killing was in Clear. So yeah, that's true. Rick might think that Morgan might regress to Clear.
Maybe.
I haven't
Maybe
thought
he
about
locks
that.
him in the cell. Like they got that cell. Maybe like Negan and Morgan gonna be cellmates.
I think we'll just leave out the Negan part and keep the Morgan in the cell. If that keeps him alive, then sure, I'm all for it.
I doubt it. The way they write this show, he'll die from like an explosion. He'll be like, he was in the cell.
Nope,
And then
see,
he'll go there.
oh my
He'll be on the ground dead.
no, see,
He'll
it'll
like,
be,
oh my gosh,
it'll be,
action.
what's it, he's all like, it's a circle. Like, see, he was in the cell and here's not here. Then he built a cell and then he'll go in the cell again. And then that'll be his new creepy house is the cell. And then he'll be alive forever.
I prefer that to Negan being in the cell.
I prefer anybody to Negan being in the cell. Negan gets to be like maybe 1 foot underground. Like, don't even give him 6 feet. Everyone can pass by and like smell how nasty he is decomposing. That's
we
where I
already
want him.
know Negan's not gonna be like dead or anything. He's probably not even gonna be in the cell. Like that group is so nice. They'll be like, even though he's bad, they'll let him walk around and do all kinds of stuff.
They'll be like, I forgive you. I understand. You had a hard life.
So what if you killed my friends for no reason? Let's just all
My
forgive each
husband,
other.
so what? Here's a line.
Just put my hand on your shoulder. It's okay. I understand. I forgive you. Let me feed
Yeah. Like, so what if you killed thousands of innocent people for no reason? You're forgiven.
you. Let's give everyone a chance.
That's how the family works, though. That's how nice they are. Like they be killing people, but they so fucking nice. Could have been me.
All right. Anyways, how much does the savior that hit Jerry need to die? Let's talk about that a bit. I think a lot.
Yeah.
Probably more than Negan, actually.
A lot.
You can't get a cupcake like Jerry and live. You have to die.
Yeah, I like saw red when that happened. I was about to fight the TV for hitting Jerry. I was like, no, you don't.
Like, don't you hit my man, good boy?
Jerry is too sweet.
Lord, cut him. Somebody said cut him piece by piece until he dies.
Ooh, I like this
until he
person.
dies.
Whoever they are, I like them.
Who answered that question? I mean, asked that question.
Who asked that question?
Yeah.
Me, because I wrote the outline.
I mean, not that. Well, who gave that answer about I hope he dies piece by piece?
Oh.
That's Swan.
No. Gerke?
Okay.
Gerke?
Do you guys think that Jerry will die?
No, I don't think about that
Most likely.
because it
Most
distresses
likely.
me.
Randos. Yes, he will die. I'm sorry for anybody who loves
I
him,
hope
but let's be
not.
realistic. This is The Walking Dead. They will kill him,
Most gruesome way.
and if he's a
They'll
minority,
kill
he's really
everybody
dead.
except Daryl.
They kill everybody. Minority, you definitely don't make it. So poor baby.
Nah, he's
Only thing
so
that can save
fine.
him is affirmative action.
Oh, God.
But then don't they just kill you off and replace you with someone else so they can say they hired more minorities?
No, what they'll do is they'll just kill you, and then 6 seasons later replace you with somebody else, black or Asian.
That's
And
what
then
I said.
With Follow go. No, not just replace you immediately. Or matter of fact, no, they cancel the show so they don't have to replace you.
Okay.
They'll be like, "This is the last season of Walking Dead. We killed everybody. We won't pay nobody."
No, Oh, well, it won't be The Walking Dead. It'll be The Walking Daryl. Like literally, that he'll be all that's left.
The walking non-minorities.
All right. Now, I don't even know how to pronounce this, but Car Ezekiel, yay or nay, is the foundation for romance being laid?
Ew.
I think so, but I'm not shipping them, but you can tell that they're going that way.
Yep. True. I don't ship them neither.
I thought that they were gonna do something Corgan related at first, but I'm feeling like there might be like a triangle for Carol's affection between Ezekiel, Morgan, and Carol. Because I thought I'd ship Ezekiel because
I'm
Well, they should just
what was
leave
it?
Carol alone and just Morgan and Zeke get together.
Oh, okay, yeah, I like that a lot better.
I like that too. I mean, I could actually go all kinds of ways on that and be pretty pleased, especially if they write Carol in a way that doesn't always grate me. Because I do like her character, I just don't like how they write her and things surrounding her, which are technically out of the character's control. But yeah, I thought they were gonna do Corgan too.
Ezekiel. Like, let's be honest. Let's just make those two get together. Like, Jesus and Zeke. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Or I was shipping Jesus and Richard, and then Richard was an ass and he died. Yeah.
Jesus and Aaron, like in the comics.
Oh, because Richard called Jesus Paul, and I was like, dang, this is romance, this is happening, but not really, because I already knew Richard was gonna die.
Mm-hmm. Paul, I'm dying.
Oh, what if it's Jesus and Morgan, and it'll be like Morgan killed Richard because Richard calls Jesus Paul.
Yes.
They should just write for this show. It'll just be love
Yeah.
triangles all day, every day.
You
Everyone
sure
killing
would.
each
This would be a
other.
soap opera. You'd be all the soap opera.
It would. See, if they'd had me write it from the beginning, I would have put an actual effort. But now they're calling me after they killed Glenn, so I just want to drive the show down. I want it to get like negative ratings. So, anyways, angsty love triangles where everyone kills each other. It is.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Except Rashon just are happy. They're eating popcorn, just watching all
Yeah.
the drama.
Rashon is the one non-messy couple amongst a sea of mess.
I love you, Jesus. I love you, Paul. I love you, Aaron. But what about him? No, fuck him.
And now we just have a few minutes left, so I suppose we can talk about the promos for the next episode and what we're looking forward to in the next episode. Live.
Huh? Oh, I'm looking forward to Sasha and Rosita finally getting some lines in before at least the end, or whoever it may be. I mean, even though I think I saw like 1 or 2 promos, I didn't see all of them or any clips. I just feel like now that these people are getting their due, somebody's gonna eventually, fall. I like it. Yeah, matter of fact, it's going back to the whole like conclusion, like to the end of somebody's story. I mean, if you notice tonight's episode, you're probably gonna see the end of somebody's story. There you go.
Yeah.
Yep. Good. Fair speculation. Forever.
I'm excited to see Sasha and Maggie again. I feel like I haven't seen them in forever. So
I haven't seen Maggie.
yeah, Maggie especially. Sasha, I'm really excited to get some meaty content from her because I was just thinking I hardly see her either. Like any long drawn out scenes we don't get from her. So I'm excited to see her show off her acting abilities.
And Candace.
Maggie, Sasha, even Enid.
Oh yeah,
I wanna
Enid
see
too.
what's- And Jesus. I think they need to use Jesus more too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about him. I just forgot about him, even though I was just screaming his name. I just forgot.
Terrible. As for me, I'm not even gonna watch the episode live. I'm gonna wait until it airs and people will give me the damage report, and then I'll mentally prepare myself to watch it. Yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
not looking forward to anything right now. All I see is one big giant rage button.
Yeah, I already see it too. I'm not watching it live. I don't think I'm gonna watch it ever.
A rage button with greasy hair.
Yeah. Spoilers, the rage button has greasy hair. Anyway.
It rhymes with Carol.
Yeah. Any stray observations or final thoughts about the episode we just talked about, the new episode coming up in a few minutes, or just the show overall?
We are currently campaigning to get the really get them to add advancing to the DVD. So if you're watching tonight and you're live tweeting, please hashtag release the Rishon for us, please.
See, look at you. I told you she was talking about that scene when it was like we didn't get to see it. Like, look at your ass. They're trying to campaign for the band team to see,
That's a whole
you
nother
know,
episode.
Rashawn butt naked. Like, oh, I just want to see Rashawn naked. Like, I really want to see Rashawn butt ass naked, man. Like, come on. Come on. What's his Greg? Come on, Greg Nicotero. You gotta let us see that.
If you would like to take a stand against AMC's prudish restrictions, tweet release the Rishon and just keep tweeting it forever. And we'll get those scenes on DVD and Blu-ray, maybe.
Yes.
But, you know, they don't listen to fan feedback, so maybe we won't. Anyways.
Yeah.
They listen to it when it comes to Daryl.
Yes, that wasn't me laughing for comedic effect. I actually was holding back a panic attack. Anyways, anything else anyone would like to add?
No, thank you, Kat, for hosting.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Thank you all for coming. Yeah, Armsy and Mama and Autumn and others weren't able to make it, and so that left it to us amazing ladies to entertain you.
I just want to let y'all know I did drive home. Who I want this Google thing and
And you should never podcast and drive, despite what just happened with Liv. It's very bad. This podcast
just long as you got a
does not
Bluetooth.
condone driving while podcasting.
I condone this message. This message been approved. Like, as long as you got a Bluetooth or a speaker, you pretty much good. Don't text and drive. That I don't condone.
Anyways, thank you, listeners, and we'll see you or talk at you, and you'll listen to us next week.
Okay, Kat, before we go,
Music.
Whoa.
I do have to say Luna, and she says she's not looking forward to the damn episode. But she's going to watch because of Sasha and Maggie have been shelled for unreasonable stretches of time.
Said I'm not looking for this damn episode. It's unreasonable. Luna, you funny. We ain't got no theme music. Da 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 da.
We should, like professionals. We can just you can just sing,
We're
Liv.
gonna
Sing the
add
show.
Yeah, Liv, you
theme
can.
music.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Huh?
Here you go.
All right. Well, night, everyone.
All right, see you in chat. See you in chat.